I am love, I am light, I am peace. I am love, I am light, I am peace. I am love.
Well, I'd like to say hello everyone for joining us. It's Medina here, and I have a very wonderful guest today. And he has just changed his name to make it a bit tricky for me. But it's David J. Anderson. That's the name that you now go by.
Yes, correct.
Excellent. And I big welcome to him today. He is pretty amazing. He's very inspirational. He has been trained by some of the best people in the world. He is very knowledgeable in a wide range of areas to do with personal development, self-growth, wellness. He's a nut. This is his words about learning about all the things to do with self-growth and personal development. And he has 14 certifications in those areas where he didn't just touch on them, superficially, but he went in very deeply to learn, at the level of mastery, what these techniques and tools and courses were teaching. So he's also been a hypnotist, and and he's fascinating to talk to. You could talk to him for hours and hours and still have more to talk about. I notice. And I'm going to wing it today. Normally I have a series of questions I ask, but because he's so eloquent, we're going to just wing it. And I've got this little thing to signify the beginning of our interview. Isn't that lovely? It's a Tibetan bell.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and I love sound therapy, so that's a
I do too. Beautiful. Sound therapy is amazing.
It is. So, David, please tell me some of these certifications that you have, just to give people a bit of a initial introduction into, what you're learned in, and that would be great. Welcome.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I have watched your broadcast, and I love your energy. And ever since we started talking, and we met quite a while ago, actually, and we couldn't quit talking then either, So we just started talking. But I actually, like, my name's David Anderson, and I am a personal development nut. I love learning. And in fact, I collected thousands of books when they were heavy, and I can carry them on my little iPad, but when they were heavy, I had a trailer full of books. Every time I moved, I had tons of books. And people would be like, well, have you read them all? And I'm like, I just feel smarter being around them. But no, I did read a lot of them, and, I just couldn't put them down. And so I've always been the kind of person. And so I've had lots of different experiences as far as business-wise. And so years ago, I was with an insurance company, and I was actually selling cancer, heart, and stroke supplemental insurance. And I was going door to door to farmers, and I wanted to get really good at it. So I actually went online, and I purchased some courses about conversational hypnosis and embedded commands, and just, tips and techniques to be a really good salesperson and be very persuasive, because I really believed in what I was doing. And I got really good at it. I was really, really good at it. And I used what I've learned, and I broke records with the company. It was wonderful, and it was amazing. But then when I got out of it, I started thinking, in fact, this is kind of funny, because 2 years ago, literally, there was a lunar eclipse, and it was about 5:30 in the morning. I'll never forget it. And I walked outside, and I stood out underneath the moon, and I felt this energy. I felt like I was standing under the sun. It was crazy. I never felt that. And the moon is masculine energy. I didn't even know that until, and I was like, wow. And I felt this, and literally, I could have got a moonburn. It was that powerful. And I walked inside, and I told my soon-to-be ex-wife I wanted a divorce, because I won't go there. It's a whole nother story, and energy-wise. And then the next day, I started signing up for online courses, and I said, I want to be good at this. I love hypnotherapy. I love the power of the mind. I love learning about that. So I went online. I purchased a ton of courses. I couldn't do I'm sure a lot of people have purchased courses online. Yep. Go ahead. You got something to say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And can I just make
Okay.
a point there too that you made
You bet.
a fantastic observation that it was at the end of your marriage when you were just leaving that it was a wonderful new time of rebirth for you, and it was opening up the universe and opening up who you are. So I think that's really positive for people out there that are going through separation in relationships or divorce, because it doesn't have to be seen as being a death. It can often be just this incredible opportunity to become what you've always wanted to be. So I just want to make that point.
Exactly. Well, what happens is, we vibrate sometimes right out of people's lives. I was doing a live feed, and I said, things are going to vibrate into your life as your vibration rises, and things are going to vibrate right out of your life, and that's okay. And when it comes to relationships, it's really hard. Exactly. It happens to so many people right now. Yeah. And when it comes to relationships, especially intimate marriage, when you've made a vow and you made a commitment till death do you part, well, that's unhealthy. Okay. Because honestly, sometimes it's just for a time. You're supposed to get, and you're there to serve them for a time, and they're there to serve you. And then that contract's up. It's over with. And it's okay to go on. It's okay to move on, for their sake and your sake.
It's a bit of an old, archaic sort of institution, isn't it, marriage in that way? Because we're so accelerated in our growth at the minute that we don't know from the now perspective how long that's going to be valid for.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not healthy to be with the person, and sometimes you're supposed to be alone. Yeah. I had to be alone to work on me. I totally had to be alone, and that was okay. I was ready for it. And so then, like I said, I went online, I purchased a bunch of courses, but I couldn't get into them. And honestly, I was just like, trying to focus. Life was in the way. Online stuff is hard. It is. If you going through online and you get certified online, I give you credit, because I couldn't do it. I was like, everything was distracting me, and I just wasn't making any progress. So I said, all right, I'm serious about this, and I want to learn. And I said, this is it. And I said, I need to go and learn this live. And within 24 hours, I got an email from a company, and they taught live performances, live teachings, and live classroom teachings. And it was funny because they had a session, or they had one coming up, a workshop in like 3 days in Los Angeles at the time. And they had one coming up in 3 months in St. Louis. And I looked, and obviously I live in Northwest Arkansas. And at the time I was in Northwest Arkansas. And I said, well, obviously St. Louis makes more sense. And I looked, and I told everybody, I'm going to sleep, and in 4 months, I'm going to, get trained in St. Louis, so I'm going to be certified. And I was so excited. And next morning when I woke up, the first words out of my mouth was, I'm fucking going to California in 3 days. I'm like, where'd that come from? But I did it. And honestly, yeah, I did it. I had a lot of catching up to do as far as, study material and things, but I went out there, and there was an 8-day course. And I was getting certified in general certification in hypnotherapy, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques, which is tapping, which is powerful. The other one was as a success life coach, and time techniques therapy. So all general certification. Well, what happened was, after 7 days, our 8th day, we're taking the test. And then after that, master certification started, which was another 2.5 weeks in Los Angeles. And she looked, our trainer looks out there, and she said, well, who in here is staying for master prac? Raise your hand. And she looks at me, she says, oh, you're staying, Dave? And I looked, and my hand was in the air. I'm like, I don't know how I got there. I guess I am. So honestly, that's how it started. And I spent all that time in California and money, and I learned something, that is, and honestly, I think out of everything I've ever done in my life, is probably the thing that I wanted to learn the most, and I wanted to focus on the most, and be as good as I could, and learn everything I could. I took it so seriously, because always in school, I'd always get, if David would just live up to his potential, blah, 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 my report card, like all my life, but this time I did, and I gave it all I had, and I learned how to help people. And so, yeah, and since then, I've got trained in Ho'oponopono, advanced Ho'oponopono, mindfulness practitioner. Just different things that I love to learn, and I do it because I know the more I learn, the more I can help people, and it's weird because now I don't even think about it. When I meet somebody, I used to be thinking, okay, what tools work best for this person out of, all these different things, knowledge I have. Now it's just weird because as I talk to a person, it just comes to me. It just comes to me what tools to use, what techniques, what different modalities, and I'm just led. And it's so cool because it's bang on every time. It's not me. I used to get in the way of it, but now it's just bang on. Everything it's my intuition, it's guidance, whatever it is, but that connection with that person, I can truly feel what they need to make the shifts that they want, they desire.
And
so,
something
yeah.
I love too about your energy, you're so enthusiastic and vibrant, and there's this real beautiful energy with that.
Love.
It's infectious.
It is love. Yeah, it's love. No, it's totally love.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I'll walk up to a stranger and I'll be like, that energy, that's love. They'll be like, what? No, it's crazy. But it is such an amazing energy.
It is.
And people feel it.
Yeah, they
People
do.
feel it.
As you're talking, it's all emanating across the screen. I saw this amazing thing online last night that was this man who wanted to spread love in the world. So he put one billboard up saying love, and then it spread around the world, and there's like 22 giant billboards around the world now saying love. I thought, I was just thinking
that is so cool.
Talking about love.
That is so cool.
My little hearts behind me for my gratitude.
No, they're colorful too. I've been at Walmart before, and somebody behind me will just be like, "I can really feel your energy," and I'm like, "It's just a stranger in line." I'm like, "Well, thank you." She's like, "No, I can really feel it," and I'm like, "Well, thank you." It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool to be able to project it.
That
and
ties to that energy. What they said, they feel it and they want to talk to you. I find that with me too. When I'm in a really good mood, everyone wants to talk because just you're saying anything, they can feel that energy. So I'm sure that you get that a lot.
Yeah, because like you said, it's infectious, it's contagious, and people want to be around people that make them feel good. And so that's why I've always loved sales. Because and I never thought about it as sales. I always thought about it as I would go out there every day and make friends. And that's it. I didn't care if I made sales or not. I mean, it started off way back in the day when I was probably, in my early 20s, I owned a perfume and cologne distributorship, ladies and men fragrances. So I was in Memphis, Tennessee, starting out carrying a box of perfume and cologne, walking up to people and saying, "You'd like to smell good and save money?" And I'd spray them on. And it was so funny because the first of the month, I would be down in the projects, and because that's the only time they had money. And the crack dealer was down there. He's my best customer. He always had money, and he loved to smell good, so he'd buy my cologne. And then, like in Memphis, in downtown Memphis, the nurses would sneak me in at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning in the hospital. And we'd have little perfume and cologne parties till the security guard to kick me out. But yeah, no, it was so fun, and just everything I've done, it's just, you gotta, anything you do, you gotta just have fun with it. I think, be passionate about it. I always leave a career when I'm just not passionate about it anymore. I've been in the restaurant business. I loved cooking, and I still love cooking. I just don't like to have to cook anymore.
But it can change.
So I could never own a restaurant. It's a big difference. Yeah. And so, but that was part of me. That was a chapter. And the whole point is, my chapter, I just turned another chapter. If you look at your book, literally, it looks like your life like a book, and it's just chapters. It's just chapters. And guess what? The next chapter is coming. And we are the creators of that. I'm the author of my own book. And you're the author of your own book. And anybody listening is the authors of their own book. And, and you don't even have to have it published. It's your book. You can write it. You can rewrite it. You can do it. It's your book. But the next chapter is always the next chapter. This don't have to be the last chapter.
No, I think you're really emanating the message of living life to the full and just embracing as much as you can and being the best you can be. That's what's coming across.
Energy. I've been doing live feeds now last couple of days, and it's all about raising your vibration. And so and I'm right here on the lake. I'm in a campground. I love it. I'm at a camp, I've got my bike here, my truck here, my kayak here, and I'm just chilling, and I knew I need to get back with nature. And I am, and I love it. And my vibration is raising. I could feel it. I'm meeting great people. I'm meeting people I'm supposed to meet, and so, but that's honestly what it's all about is to, every day, just raising your vibration, being authentic with who you are, and the bottom line is, I dealt a long time ago with, I fucked up a lot in life, and that's okay. That's okay. Because I learned from it and it made me who I am. And and also too, I mean, I had to forgive what goes back to Ho'oponopono, and honestly, when you say, I listened to your song, by the way, it was great, and I listened to the whole thing over and over. It was like, yes, it's so powerful, and so, but it goes back to Ho'oponopono and being sorry and being thankful and showing love, and so it's just so important and being, and it's to yourself, it's to your creator. And I think the only thing we really have to ask for forgiveness from is not always showing love to ourselves, to other people around us, honestly, and that's it, and when that's forgiven, the slate is clean and you can just be open to receiving, because that's really what Ho'oponopono is all about, is actually everything you learn is everything you have in your mind. All this stuff in your mind is either memories or intuition, from the divine source, one or the other. And so what Ho'oponopono is all about is totally erasing, going back to zero on the, not even a whiteboard. Nothing's there. There's no whiteboard, because there was a whiteboard there to be something there. So there's nothing there. Okay, and totally wiping it clean and starting, because that way everything is straight intuition. Everything's coming down into your crown chakra. Everything, And so it's not from your past. It's not from this. Once you've cleared that, and that's really what Ho'oponopono is all about, And so, and I mean, and when I learned that modality, I always had a feeling, out of everything I've learned, that was going to be the most powerful, and it has been. And I believe I haven't even touched the surface of it. I haven't scratched the scratch of it. I mean, there's so much more to learn, and so much more that I know comes from here that hasn't come out yet. And it's exciting, because even my master trainer, when I was in California, and he looks at me, he says, Dave, he says, you're gonna do things in this field that's never been done before. I said, I know. I said, I can feel that too. I said, no doubt about it. I said, because I mean, with my background, my energy, everything I've done, I said that, I can feel that. I can totally feel that. And I did some really cool stuff. The Rykov effect is something I've studied. In fact, back in 1941, Vladimir Rykov, he was an amazing Russian scientist and philosopher, and he did a study. And he took an ordinary, just an average pianist, an average musician, an average artist, and what they did is the Rykov effect. What you do, it goes back to universal consciousness. It goes back to the Akashic records, if you will, and how everything is there waiting for us to plug into. And so what they do is you actually picture, like Mozart, and you picture him, and he's sitting there playing, or Beethoven, or whatever, and these future people would picture somebody, that was very famous for their field, what they were doing. And what you do is you picture your head on their body. It kind of sounds kind of morbid in a way, but then all of a sudden your head's on their body and they're still playing, or they're still whatever they're doing, and you start to feel what they feel, and then all of a sudden you're in their body, and it's crazy. But it's real. And I want to plug that into my teachings as well and help people. I've done that. I laid on my bed one time and I was doing self-hypnosis, and I actually I connected at a universal consciousness level with Paul J. Meyer, with Ogmandino, with my mentors that aren't here anymore. I could feel their consciousness inside me. It was crazy. I felt this amazing connection. And I was just like, and I got on the phone with somebody, and they're like, wow, I could feel it too. I'm like, I know. It's almost like you were on the phone with that person, but it was me. And it was crazy. It was intense. And so, there's so much out there.
Actually really resonate with Socrates. And so I was really sort of connecting to his energy, and I was feeling it around me and everything. And a couple of days after that, I had a friend that she did a little bit of healing on me, and she said, oh, I really feel Socrates around you. So she specifically picked him up in my energy field after I've been working with him. And I said it to my son who plays football. I said, if you really want to excel to the highest levels, just think of your most fabulous, footballers that you really look up to, that you really admire, and just, ask to work with their energy and bring that in.
Yes.
So he's
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's another thing I with hypnosis that I wanted to do too. I want to actually work with, can you imagine, like your son, okay, they're in sports, they're into band, they're into music, whatever they happen to be in, and literally within 30 minutes you could sit down with them and you could actually do what's called future pacing, and take them out 6 months down the road, and they could see that, you know, they're a successful athlete. They've learned it. They've gotten past that. They've got the music. They're in their first recital or their first game, and how that feels, and help them overcome all those little obstacles, not feeling like practicing all this stuff along the way before they even have those challenges. And they can hold on to that, just like a gym membership. If I could meet with somebody, if a gym would pay me for an hour for every person that signed up for a membership, and let me do a session with them, and they could say, okay, you know, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, they could look down, they could see their muscles, they could see how healthy they are, how fit they are, how good they feel, and all those little challenges along the way, we overcome them mentally before you even get to them. And they hold on to that. I mean, I think it would be such a good investment for a gym, because those people would be using their membership then. But hypnosis is that powerful. It is that powerful. You can overcome any challenges, any obstacles, you know, and because it's from your unconscious mind.
Yes.
You know, that's the deal. And your unconscious mind is where your power lies.
Having that in a gym is a great idea, because obviously it's very sort of physical based, a gym, but then you're having the holistic perspective where you're working on all the different aspects at once. And
exactly.
It's great if that was a mainstream thing in all the gyms, where they encompassed all this work with
absolutely. I think that it should be a leading gym. If I owned a gym franchise, it would be worth it for 1 hour. It would, for that member, it would be an investment in that member. You'd be showing them something, you know. And so, absolutely.
They had this thing where basketball players were trying to get, you know, they were high level basketball players, and they were practicing for hours, a certain amount of hours, their game skills. And then there was another group that sat down and visualized themselves, you know, really getting these amazing results. And the group that sat down and visualized it did way better than the group that had spent all that time physically practicing. So that's just the power of the mind is so essential.
It's amazing. I'm very familiar with that story. Yeah, no, the power of visualization is so amazing. And I'll tell you one thing, an area that I think I'm supposed to focus on is blended families. You know, I think there's such a big need there. And in fact, I've got some ideas for some different books and things, because I mean, you know, my mom, bless her heart, I mean, she was married 7 times, you know, and so I had a lot of different blended families, you know, different ingredients have been blended, different types of blended families all my life, you know, and it's crazy when you wake up, you know, nowadays there's so many blended families out there, you know, and so that's probably the biggest challenge is, you know, it's with, okay, so here I am, I meet you today, and guess what? You and I are now family. You're my sister, and I'm supposed to love you and live with you and put up with you just because my dad fell in love with your mom and they got married. That's crazy. Okay. And that puts, I mean, that's a whole different, you know, and I did that many times. I had lots of stepbrothers and sisters, and I was the oldest most of the time. I think pretty much, well, no, a couple times I was younger, but most of the time I was the oldest. And so, you know, that blending, that dynamics, you know, that comes with that, because you've got the brother and sister, you've got the mom and kids, you've got the dad and kids, and you've got the mom and dad and the kids. And I mean, just, there's so much to it, and it's tough. It's hard. Yeah, it is. And I feel like I'm an expert. I mean, I'm an expert when it comes to that, you know, and I think there's a big need out there. A big need for that.
You go through yourself, you often are here to, you know, teach others. So because you've had so much of that experience, you come with not only the learning that you have, but there's nothing like going through something in the physical to really understand it at that really integral core level. And it makes me think of that show, you know, the Brady Bunch, where everything was just so rosy, so perfect. And so unrealistic.
Yeah, no, exactly. Have you ever seen like behind the scenes Brady Bunch? It's kind of pretty funny, you know. I mean, yeah, I mean the dad was gay. I mean, come on, the dad was, you know. I mean, come on, you know. And so yeah. And Marsha and Greg had an affair. I mean, you know,
take the oldest son on a date or something like that. But I think she was just being nice, you know. But she took him on a date. Florence Henderson took the oldest son, Greg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. She could have been a cougar. She was probably a cougar. But but no, but Marcia and Greg, the two oldest, actually had an affair when they were younger. I mean, they did. So yeah, behind the scenes, Brady Bunch wasn't. But I tell you, the one of the most powerful techniques that I learned though was time techniques therapy, and it was amazing. You're not hypnotized for this. Time techniques is actually where you actually create a timeline, and you can go back on your timeline, you can go forward on your timeline. It's your timeline. And so what is amazing is when you do time techniques is we release the 5 negative emotions: anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt. And guys especially hold a lot of guilt, and so, but what happens is you're not hypnotized. What's that?
Parents hold a lot of guilt. I'll find that all the time with parents.
Yeah. It's true. It's so true. And so, but we did that. We do the anger and we do the sadness, and we do it in that order, because what happens if you release the sadness, if you don't do the sadness after the anger, then you got a very sad person, even suicidal. So ethically, you have to do that, because even children, parents do the same thing. Adults do the same thing. We use anger to cover up our sadness. A kid gets sad, they'll be like, "Get away from me." Same thing. We do the same thing. So you got to do it, the anger, then the sadness. And what happened to me was, because when you're being trained, you go through it as if you were a client, which is so cool. I got hypnotized many times, and I went through these sessions. But so they came to me and they said, "Okay, Dave, if you were to know at what age did this sadness start, or the anger start?" The first one's anger. And I said, immediately, 5 years old. I didn't have a clue why. What happened at 5? No memories, anything. But I just knew 5 years old. My unconscious said 5 years old. So they released the anger from 5 years old all the way to now, and I felt amazing. Then they said, "Okay, if you were to know at what age was the root cause of the sadness?" Immediately I said 3 years old. Didn't know why. Again, no memories. And so they released the sadness, or the sadness from 3 years all the way to now. And then we did the fear, hurt, and guilt a couple weeks later. But the next day I called my mom, and she was in Tennessee and I was in Los Angeles. And I said, "Mom, what happened when I was 3 years old?" And she thought for a minute, and she said, "Well, your dad was stationed in the military." And I said, "But what happened?" She said, "We lived in Germany." And she said, "Wait, you were 3.5 when your grandfather had a heart attack. And we flew back to the States because we thought he was going to die." And I pictured it. Right when she said that, I pictured, I'm 3 years old. My grandfather didn't die, fortunately, but he had 16 children. So here I am at 3 years old, running around, and all my aunt probably being ignored, and like most 3-year-olds are. And I'm getting all this energy, all this sad energy from my cousins, my aunts, my uncle, everybody thinking he's going to die. Yeah. And I took it all in. I said, "That's it. That's where it came from." And I said, "All right. So, Mom, what happened when I was 5? And she didn't want to tell me. And I could feel her hesitation. I could feel it emotionally. My mom and I were very connected. She had me at 16, so we're very connected. I said, "Mom, what happened when I was 5? And she said, "You were 5 years old when you saw your dad beating the shit out of me. And he was drunk, and I saw a kitchen knife, and I went to pick it up, and I was going to stab him because I didn't want to take the beating anymore. And I looked in your eyes, and you were watching the whole thing. And I dropped the knife, and I took the beating." I said, "That was it, Mom. That's where the anger come from." And all my life, any guy that hits a girl has been a trigger for me. All my life has been a trigger. I've never laid my hand on a girl in anger. I can say, and I'm 50 years old. I've never done that, because my mom taught me better. Bottom line. And so now I beat up a lot of guys that have it, and we won't go there. But yeah, it's been a trigger. And so so that's the cool thing about. And then what happened is after a few weeks, I went to Master Prac, and I had an amazing practitioner, a fellow student, and she released during a break, and she released the fear, which there wasn't a huge shift there. I'm not afraid a lot. Then she released the hurt. Yeah. And there wasn't a big shift there, because I just don't let things really affect me too much, and I just let it go. But then she released the guilt. And she stepped back and she says, "Oh my God, I saw it coming out of you." And I said, I felt like I could float afterward. And in fact, I posted that picture on Facebook right after that. And people were like, "Wow." I had more comments on that picture than anything I've ever posted. And because people could feel it. They could feel it. They're like, what is it? What is that you've got? And it was just being free. Yes. It felt free. And I really felt like I could float. And that's cool because that's what I can offer people. I learned what I can do for people. People have all these misconceptions. For one thing, when you're hypnotized, I can't make you do anything you wouldn't do if you weren't hypnotized. I can't make you jump off a bridge. If I could do that, I would go to the bank and hypnotize other people to give them the money. But that doesn't work that way. I can't create hypnotic zombies, okay? Zombie slave. It doesn't work that way. So, but the way it does work is you go to your unconscious mind and you make powerful suggestions. And those powerful suggestions, when they're in your unconscious mind, if there's ever a battle between your conscious mind and your unconscious mind will win every time. Every time. Okay. So it's like if you're like, okay, I don't want to eat this cake. I don't want to eat this cake. I don't want to eat this cake. But you see this cake sitting there and you come home and you see this cake sitting there, and that morning the cake was still sitting there and you were like, fine, I'm not going to eat it. But you come back and you look at the cake and you've had a terrible day and now you don't even think about it anymore. And you think, I'm fat anyway. And all these things in your unconscious mind take over and you eat the cake. Okay. And that's kind of what happens. And so your unconscious mind is so, so, so powerful. And so
90%, is it 90% of your thoughts are unconscious? Is that correct?
As that, and your behavior, pretty much 100% of your behavior comes from your unconscious mind. Yeah. And so, when you get somebody to go in and say, okay, the difference being, that's why I wanted to get really good at this as far as helping people, because you can do one thing, I call it surface sessions. So you come to me and I can help you quit smoking, or I can help you with procrastination, or I can help you with nail biting or whatever. And that's basically picking the bad fruit off the tree. That's kind of what it is. Okay. So I can pick those bad fruit with a surface session, or it's called a breakthrough session. I can spend about 8 hours with you and we can actually fix the roots of the tree. Okay. And so instead of picking the bad fruit off the tree, not smoking or whatever, that's a behavior. Now we're fixing the roots. In a healthy tree with healthy roots will produce good fruit. Okay. Yeah. So what the difference is like you come to me and say, okay, Dave, I want to quit smoking. Okay, great. That's wonderful. That's the surface session. Or you can come to me and say, okay, I want a breakthrough session. And then we spend 8 hours. And now what happens is we worked on your values. We worked on your modalities, your submodalities, the way you see things, your pictures. We've worked on all these things, but now you're a healthy person. Okay. Well, at the end of the day, a healthy person doesn't smoke. We don't have to worry about that anymore because you're going to make better choices because now you don't smoke because you're a healthy person, and everything else that goes along with that. Yes. You're not just stopping smoking. You're now a healthy person, and we've changed that whole mindset, which changes your behavior, and it's powerful, really powerful.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's just one little tool. That's just one little tool. And so yeah, and like I said, the more I learn, every day I'm studying. I'm studying all the time. And when I get done, I'll be able to wallpaper a whole house with all my certifications. And the certification paper don't really mean anything to me. What something means to me, because I'm studying cognitive behavioral therapy right now. Like I said, mindfulness. All these things because I want to be able to help people instinctively.
Sure.
When they come to me, I want to be firsthand, just boom. It comes to me what they need because I know what I'm doing and I know the tools and I'm connected with that person at the energy of love, and I want them to have the best life possible. And what's really exciting nowadays is I'm getting where I don't even have to charge to do it anymore because I got something that is taking care of me financial wise, and I'm making the world a better place. We talked about the water. Absolutely. I'm so excited about a magic water. And so, but that's the engine that pays my bills so I can help people that really need the help. Because what happens is, and I know you're a testament to this as well, but, so many people that are the givers with the good hearts and they're the empaths and they want to give so much. We don't have anything to give. We're given from an empty cup, but we give anyway. We give because that's what we do. We give out of love. Yes. Well, what's great about it magic is that's going to be the engine that takes care of everything. And I can just do what I do. I can just be me, help people, love people, and not have to worry about paying the bills anymore. And that's exciting.
Can we just talk briefly, and I'm going to put some links below for people
okay.
To the Kangen Water that you're talking about, which is
Alkaline
Water. Just have a brief story. I know you could talk for ages about it because it's so amazing, but just what is this engine that you're working with that's creating this income for you that is, I know it's fantastic for people's health. And you mentioned to me there was two particular examples. You told me about a teenager with acne, and also yourself with your potential diabetes that it really helped
Mhm.
with. So please tell me just a little bit about that, and then if people want more, they can definitely contact
Sure.
you to get more.
Sure. Well, it actually goes back to 1931. The guy that would, Dr. Otto, that won the Nobel Peace Prize, he discovered that no disease can live in an alkaline environment. Okay, and so it's basically more toward the acidic. It's you got your pH balance. And you got a pH balance for your respiratory system, your blood system, your every part of us. We have a balance, a pH balance. And cancer thrives in more of an acidic environment, and all other diseases do. And so what all this is is changing it's about your water. In fact, the biggest analogy that I have is like, in fact, today I was telling some guys, they're like, well, how does this work? And I'm like, well, if you have a fish tank, you have an aquarium, and you have fish that are getting sick, what do? Do you go in there and cut the fish open and try to fix the fish? No. What do? You change their water. You change their water. First thing you do. Well, our hearts, our liver, our kidney, our lungs are the same thing. And when they're sick, we change the water. And look how much water's in our body anyway. And all this is, what's great about it is it's right out of your tap. And so, and there's a great lucrative business opportunity behind it. And what we do is we connect you with social media, and you just have to be authentic, be yourself. You become your personal brand. We teach you how to be your personal brand, and everything else just happens, which is really cool. But yeah, we'll put a link down there. But yeah, no, I had a lot of digestive problems, and I was diabetic. And so, I felt like my grandmother taking all this medicine. I told you about that. And in this medicine, I didn't have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, but this medicine could cause this, and this could cause this. And I had this little suitcase, and I was just like, this is kind of crazy. And I know it's not healthy. There's no way this can be healthy for me. And so I quit taking them. And my numbers kind of went crazy. And so I thought, well, this ain't real smart either. And so then I discovered the water, and I started drinking the water. And then my numbers managed, they're evened out. I have more energy. I still don't take any medication. And you can honestly Google any disease you can think of and Kangen Water, and you're going to see doctor testimonials. There's over 3,600 doctors' testimonials, and you're going to see testimonials from people that have used the water, and it's changed their life. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's all about going green. It's all about getting rid of the chemicals in your house. It's all about no plastic. It's all about, and what's great is the best is right out of the tap. That's the strongest, right out of your own tap. And that's when the ORP is the strongest. That's when it's going to do you the most good. And that's when, because honestly, I'm back in a place where I lived a long time ago. I grew up, and I'm running into people, and a lot of these people are very successful people. Back in the day, they were very successful, but there's so many of them that are sick right now. So many. And I'm healthy isn't wealthy. Bottom line, and some of these guys had a lot of money. And honestly, I was kind of, I looked up to them, and now I'm meeting these people again, and man, their health, and it's sad. And these people would give anything, for their health, anything, just like my family, and that's why I'm so passionate about this water, because I lost my grandmother to cancer. I lost my aunts. I have two aunts that I had my uncles to cancer. It's tore my family up. And I had I known, somehow I would have done whatever it took to get a water machine in their house. Had I known what was going to happen, I would have done it, no matter what it took. And so yeah, just helping people and be healthier, wealthier. That's what I love doing. So yeah, we'll put a link down below, but we won't talk about the water anymore, because I could talk about it forever. Yeah, definitely. Well, it's ionized. It's alkaline. It's not just alkaline. It's ionized. So like a lake zapped by lightning is ionized, electrolyzed for about the first 6 days. Well, that's what it's like that. There's platinum plates and titanium plates, and we zap it with high voltage, and we're putting life in that water. It's alive. It's pretty cool. And when you drink it, you can feel it.
Yeah.
It's got energy. It's got real energy.
When you eat food that's got life force, it's so much better for you as well. Same thing.
Yes.
Well,
exactly.
What I want to do, David, is I would love to interview you again soon, because there's just so much we can talk about. But
no, we didn't cover a lot of stuff.
I'll just let people integrate all that for now. And what we'll do, we'll resume again soon and talk about some more things. I want to ask you about your people that you've come across in your life that have really had an influence of you, your mentors, why it's important to have mentors. These are all things I'd like to explore later on. So Thank you so much. It's just been wonderful, and because you talk fast, it's sort of like an hour's worth of information rather than half an hour. So.
I don't know how long we've been talking. Yeah, I know. I gotta work and keep my voice toned down a little bit. I get excited. I talk faster. I do talk faster, and so yeah, I do, and I'm guilty of that.
It's
But
wonderful.
no, I thank you so much, and yeah, anytime, because I mean, there's some in my live feeds. We can put the link for the water thing, but then my live feeds as well on Facebook. I just started them every day. It's about raising your vibration every single day. And tomorrow I'm going to be on there. And what's great is you never know what we're going to talk about. Honestly, we could talk about Ho'oponopono. We could talk about EFT, which, man, if your viewers, I mean, EFT is so powerful. I have some amazing things with EFT. But self hypnosis, and then also too, I project energy on there, and it's so cool because a while back I had a visitation and was shown what to do, and so I started projecting this energy, and people really feel it, and it's pretty cool, and so and I want people to tune in so they can feel that energy, and they can take that energy and they can heal themselves with it.
Yes.
And they can love themselves with it, and ultimately we're gonna love every around us, and we're gonna heal the world, and we have help doing it. We just gotta do our part.
That's true. Yes. So definitely get on board there with David and tune into that. And the other thing we're talking about is potentially maybe doing a retreat together. So if anyone's up for that, just let us know, because we'd love to run.
Wouldn't it be fun? We'd have so much fun doing that. We would. We'd have a blast. Hawaii's good too.
Just got to decide whether to do it in Australia or America, because I want to do it in America. You want to do it in Australia?
I know, and I want to do it in Australia. Yeah, exactly. So I guess we'll do 1 and 2. I mean, yeah, one. Both sides of the world. We got it covered. Part 1 and part 2. You bet. We'll have a blast.
Lovely.
We'll have a blast.
Fantastic to talk with you. We'll talk again soon, and that was
Thank you.
Marvelous. Thank you. You enjoy your wonderful time by the lake. Sounds good.
I will. I'm going to go fishing tomorrow. I'm going to catch me some fish. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Go for a motorcycle ride. Just enjoy the freedom.
You stay there.
Freedom.
I'll say goodbye while we finish this recording. And thank you everyone for listening. I hope you got lots of fabulous value out of all this wonderful information. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.